Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the SNAPcast. We are on episode 8. We've got a very, and that's not an understatement, a special guest today. Alexa, how are you?
I'm fine, Jack. How are you?
I'm
Nice
good,
to meet
thank you. Could you tell us, the viewers, a little bit about yourself and what brings you here today?
Right. Well, I've been in Milton, Keynes now since 1983. Came down here when I got married.
Yeah.
My husband was working down here, and I started working in the skill centre and I was civil servant, and then did all sorts of work there, and then moved to what was called the training agency. And as part of that, then I got to know what wasn't SNAP. It was the Sun Centre, and I ended up being one of the major funders through the civil service to organisations within Milton Keynes that were doing training. So did that for quite some time, became a trustee of SNAP at that point in time, which we'll talk about later. Done all sorts. Worked within the Training Enterprise Council. I was the operations director. Worked in Connections, which was giving advice and guidance to young people.
Yeah, I've heard of Connections.
Worked with the college. I was the apprenticeship manager there. Worked with the Institute of Chartered Accountants for a couple of years, helping them with a particular project because my friend was the manager there. And have been retired for some time now, but still volunteer.
Very busy.
Still volunteer for the youth offending team, and have done that for 24 years. And I'm now vice chair of Citizens Advice.
Well, that's a very long career. Very
shows what age I am.
Very inspirational and long career you had. But yeah, so we got a few more questions. Well, you've been connected to SNAP. How many years were you connected to SNAP before?
Before it was, as I say, it was called the Sun Centre.
Yeah.
When I first knew it, and it was when it was the Sun Centre, the funding came from an organisation called Elfrida Rathbone, which was a national organisation which supported young people and adults who had additional difficulties, disabilities, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And when it was the Sun Centre, it was under what was called a voluntary project, which was funded by the government, and that funding finished. And it wasn't a very good place, the Sun Centre. But at that point in time, Peter Wilson came on the scene. And Peter was looking for somewhere for his daughter Sally to go to for a different interest during the day. And Peter came up against the Sun Centre and really didn't like it, understandably. And at that point in time, it was then thought, right, let's move this organisation to a better premises. And we got premises through Peter with the help of, I think it was Henry Diamond at the time. We went to Kiln Farm.
Yeah.
So I was involved at that point because I was the person that was, through my organisation, was putting some funding to SNAP as it became. And that would be about 89, 90.
Yeah, before I was born then.
Thanks, Jack.
No. So you mentioned Kiln Farm. Yeah. So Kiln Farm, Kiln Farm was SNAP before they moved into Walnut Tree in this building.
That's correct. Kiln Farm was where we actually did a kind of competition as to what to call this organisation, and we came up with SNAP, SNAP.
Yeah.
So SNAP was Special Needs Advancement Project.
Yeah.
And we liked SNAP, and we also, at that point in time, recruited a manager, which was Kiln Farm. And we got Ian through, there was, at the time that SNAP was being set up and being called SNAP, there was a lot of unemployment in Milton Keynes. Well, it was all over the country. We were in recession. And we set up an executive action programme through another training company called Intech. And Ian was seconded to SNAP and became the manager. So SNAP then had some learners that came from the Sun Centre, and then other learners started to come. One of the things that was really important at that point in time was that learners felt that they were coming to do something that they wanted to do, and that they were given the right support as much as we could possibly give it. So we were then having, because it didn't fall into, it was an apprenticeship, it was a traineeship, it didn't fall into those funding streams. So we had to actually get together with the corporation, Milton Keynes, the Development Corporation, the council, and at that time in 1989, the Training and Enterprise Council, which I was part of.
Yeah.
So we all sat round the table, and my boss at the time was John Marshall, who then became the director of the food bank. John did all sorts of other things in between times, but then became director of the food bank and he's retired now. But John and I, the Development Corporation, and that was Ian Page and Pat Scrimshaw, and then there were people from the council, and one in particular was Kevin Wilson. And I'm sure Val McDermott was part of it as well. So we all sat around the table and said, right, this is an organisation that Milton Keynes needs, and there's no funding for it through the normal channels. So what do we do? So we threw in 10,000, and then the council threw in 10,000, and the Development Corporation did the same. And then my boss upped the ante and said 20, and said, right, Milton Keynes Council and Development Corporation match it, which they duly did.
Yeah, that's really good.
So we could then employ more people. They weren't on a very big wage.
No.
The people that were the support staff and the trainers. And Kiln Farm, as much as it was far better than it was at the Sun Centre, it was a building that was absolutely stifling in the summer and freezing in the winter because it was all corrugated iron. But Ian took over there. He worked with us for 6 months, and then he actually became the manager. We had Caroline, who was one of the supervisors. We had Teresa. So these were all people that I knew when we were working there. So at that point in time, there was lots of work that the learners did that was about doing pieces of work for companies. So we did all of that, and we did that there for quite a number of years. We were in Kiln Farm, and I was involved from that point on.
How long would you say it took for SNAP to get up and running from when you probably...
It didn't take long. No? It really didn't take long. We were up and running within 6 or 9 months. Wow. As SNAP as NK SNAP in Kiln Farm. I can remember Dimitri being recruited. He came in to do joinery. Yeah. And we had a bit in Kiln Farm that we had to make sure that we weren't throwing sawdust over everybody as well. So that was but Dimitri, I can remember him coming.
Yeah, Dimitri was here 22 years, wasn't he? He was
I always, Dimitri came from Kiln Farm to here with Ian Farmer and Teresa and Caroline. Yeah. So I was a trustee from probably about, when it became a formal organisation, I was probably a trustee from 1990, as was Peter Wilson. Our first chairperson at that point was a local solicitor, Anthony Bond, and he was amazing. He was a really nice gent, really nice. And that's where we started.
Wow.
And I was the person that was there from the Training and Enterprise Council.
So you were from when they put the seeds in the ground and it grew to be just a massive, wonderful place.
Yes, it did.
As it is now.
Peter Wilson, I keep mentioning Peter, excuse me, because he really did have a major influence in terms of getting this piece of land because of all the work that he did with the Community Foundation. And I can remember us standing outside with a spade before this building was built. Yeah. So it's come a long, long way.
Wow, that's quite inspirational. How did the learners help Snap grow as a place?
The learners have always been amazing, always. I think because they like coming here. It for a lot of the learners, if they, it gave them a sense of purpose.
In a place to belong.
Yeah, like what you do now to what you did when it was in Kiln Farm. I'm sure there'll be elements that are the same, but there's a lot more happening now than there was then. But it was this, working with some of the small employers who, you were putting packages together and being able to do that. It was always about, like when I used to come here, the learners called this their work.
Yeah.
And that was great because that's what they believed and they thought and they wanted to come. I remember when, sometimes the days, they weren't coming as many days as they wanted to. And that really upset them because they wanted to come more. And I think that should be allowed. The council should allow that. If this is where a young person wants to come, then let them, because this is the right place for them. It's it's such a lovely atmosphere and it's
great
such
staff.
a nice. They have great staff. I remember Katie being recruited. I remember Steve being recruited. Steph.
We're sorting out Steve's statue in a couple of weeks. He deserves it with how good he's done.
So I've been here through its troubles. And I know funding is never easy at any point in time, but funding was very difficult
and very key.
Yeah.
What was your most rememberable, the moment you'll never forget since you've been involved with Snap?
Oh, there's been loads.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one was actually moving here.
Yeah, from Kiln Farm.
Kiln Farm.
Yeah.
Kiln Farm was okay. And that's all you can say about it.
You can say it how it is, trust me.
Yeah, I know. But moving here and it being purpose built and it being really a nice place to come.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Probably meant a lot more.
It did. The one thing that I always felt was good, because when I used to come and help out on a Tuesday, I was always in the kitchen. I was always doing the teas and the coffees for the break in the morning, and then doing the tidy up. And learners used to come and help me as well. And being able to have your dining area, and be able to come out and sit there and chat to your friends, and you could come and get your tea or your coffee, and we kind of hid the sugar. You're not allowed sugar. It's always been, there's such a nice atmosphere, and it was just what everybody deserved.
Yeah.
Really
definitely.
Was. Yeah.
I definitely agree. Well, you should come to the cafe one day. We're open on Tuesday and Thursday, 9:30 to 12. So if you're listening, make sure you turn up.
I will do. Yeah.
That'll be really good.
That'll be good.
More questions. So you touched on what Snap was created for. What was Snap like in the early days?
At the very beginning, when it was the Sun Centre, not very productive.
No.
When it became NK Snap, and there was a lot of hard work in terms of what do we need to do with the learners, what's right for them, and so there was a lot of work done on that. What happened when it came here was we had different rooms that you could add different things to. So you could add that computers. We didn't really have that much in when we were at Kiln Farm in terms of the way of computers. So we got computers, so young people could be better associated with the computers and feel more comfortable with them. We got breakout rooms where things like English and maths, because one of the things that was also really important when you came here, and you used to do some of it, Steve, was about money
Yeah.
matters,
Yeah.
and that's important. So that people, the learners were actually learning about their finances and what
Yeah.
they could spend the money on, and just be more aware.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more development when SNAP moved here in terms of what was available to the learners. The cafe was available, which again in Kiln Farm wasn't. Because when I was here, the learners used to help me make the teas and the coffees,
Yeah.
and were with me when we were washing up. So all of those sorts of things
Yeah.
became more part of the day-to-day running of
Yeah.
SNAP.
Yeah. We still have the cafes, and we still do money skills and life skills in different sessions. That it's the same sort of similar thing, isn't it?
And it's really important, but as I say, there was far more development when it moved here.
Yeah, there's people like with loans who can get taken advantage of out in the real
Absolutely.
world, and scammed, and I mean, I've had experiences where I've been scammed or people have taken money off me.
See, these people really bugs me.
What was involved in making a building happen? Obviously, you said the funding.
Yeah, well, first of all, there was a lot of discussion about where.
Yeah.
And where the land was going to be. And it was also, again, it was something that Peter did with his solicitors. Brandon Ransley was one of them. And Brandon was a trustee.
Well, very good memory. I would have forgotten.
I really had to think about this. I actually wrote a lot of it down before I came, thinking, right, who was involved? So there was a lot of about how SNAP was to be set up, because if SNAP was to disappear, this building would have then gone to the Community Foundation. So it was how to get it funded, and we were involved as trustees at that time. Ian Stewart, who then was the chair of trustees, and Ian was chair of trustees when we were at Kiln Farm as well. He worked for Retico. He was the accountant at Retico, Ian Stewart, and was our chair for many years after Anthony. Anthony was ill, and then Ian took over. So there was a lot of discussion about how do we get the funding, and how do we make it work. And they did the magic with the figures, and we just kind of carried along with them.
Wow, that's really good.
And so SNAP was born, and this building started.
That is inspirational. What makes SNAP special compared to other places in Milton Keynes or around the world?
Oh, I think SNAP's just
SNAP.
SNAP's just very special. It always has been. I think it's the staff, the learners, and some of our trustees. They've been very special and very influential throughout their time.
They're very good now. The trustees, they always come in and say hello.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Buy a coffee. We've got Mel, who was big part of the Olympics when I spoke to her.
Right.
She's been to the Olympics.
I remember that lady. She wasn't a trustee when I was a trustee.
Yeah, she's an MBE as well,
yes,
I believe. Yeah.
So have I.
You was an MBE?
Yeah.
How was that? Didn't know. How was that being an MBE and meeting the Queen at the time?
Yeah.
Was it Queen Elizabeth?
Yes, it was.
How was it meeting Queen Elizabeth?
I thought she was very small, like me. I could, say how do at that level. We're kind of at eye to eye. It was 2002 I got my MBE.
Wow, the year I was born.
Yeah. Thanks, Jack. No pressure there.
Wow, so you've had an MBE for 23 years.
Yeah, I got it for services for training to young people and adults in Milton Keynes and North Bucks.
Wow.
It was a total surprise.
Yeah.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would get something like that.
Wow, that's... Congratulations.
Thank you. Went up to the palace
in
in December as well.
It was very cold. Well, probably warm in the palace, but
yeah,
outside of the palace it must have been cold.
Drove into the quadrangle with my husband, my son and my best friend.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a very special occasion. Met the Queen. There was 104 people went through that day for the ceremony. So there were 4 people knighted, and then all the rest of the awards were given out as well. But,
Wow.
CBs, OBs, NBEs. So
Have you still got your award?
Yeah.
You should bring it in one day.
Yeah, it's been in its box ever since.
Wow.
And you get a certificate, which and the certificate is signed by the Queen, and Prince Philip signed my certificate. So it did take me a long time to get it in a frame. It took me 18 years to get it in a frame. It was rolled up, well, it wasn't rolled up. It was in the envelope that it came in. So you get, when the Queen meets you, or you meet the Queen rather than the Queen meets you, you meet the Queen. You've got a little pin put on your jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
And the Queen puts your medal over
Wow.
the top of that.
I think I'd faint if I was in that position. I would faint.
Okay.
Yeah, wow, well, congratulations. There's another handshake. Not many people get them.
Oh, thank you, Jack.
But that is really good. That is really great. What are you most proud of about Snap?
Actually, I think that it's still survived.
It's still here,
It's
changing
still
people's
here.
lives.
Yeah, it's still here. After, every charity that you come across is struggling with funding.
Yeah.
Every charity, no matter what size they are. But SNAP has been here, since 89, 90, and it's still doing such good work.
We had a brilliant Christmas fair yesterday.
Oh,
that went
wonderful.
really good, yeah.
Excellent.
That was really good. We had the mascot out misbehaving.
Oh, good. I'm pleased to hear it.
But no, yeah, it was a really good event. It was very busy.
I'm pleased to hear it. I think being here allows people to, be able to park and come and just the doors are open. I've been to loads of concerts when the Snap levers have done concerts as well and things like that. So
we do pantomimes as well, yeah.
So it's all been. We did it at the theatre. There was a Snap band made up of trustees and
Okay.
I wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
But Brandon was in the band, and they actually raised loads. There was a couple of CDs made as well. So it was. What was it? It was at the stables. We did 2 events at the stables at different years with the Snap band, and it went down a storm.
Wow, incredible. Well, we should think about doing that again. I'll get Steve on it.
Yeah, it was amazing. The talent of all these people that were there. There was all sorts of the great and the good of Milton Keynes that joined together to actually put this band together.
That's really good. We've got some quick fun questions for you now.
Go on then.
First one is tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee. Early mornings or late nights?
Early mornings.
One word to describe Snap.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Looking back, what do you think makes Snap so special, and why you think people are still coming through your doors today and joining the charity and supporting the charity?
They've got a really good reputation.
Yeah.
And reputation is everything.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the things I think that, and you should never take light of this, is that it's not, yes, you have to advertise and what you're doing and all the rest of it, but word of mouth is everything. And if somebody says, oh, they were rubbish, that spreads really quickly.
Yeah.
But just as quickly, they're really good and they're worthwhile and give it a go, that spreads just as quickly. And you, as the learners, are great, advocacies for SNAP because of who you are and what you do, and how you present yourselves, as is the team that are there to support you.
Well, thank you for having you on today. It's been a very special pleasure to have you on here.
That's been
Don't forget to like, subscribe and follow our Facebook and Instagram page, and put some comments in and request for more guests like the wonderful Alexa. It's been a very big pleasure to meet you.
And you, Jack.
And well, thank you for everything, for bringing this place alive and giving me somewhere to go during my week. So
well, it wasn't. I was a small cog in a big wheel.
But you helped.
And
You having you there helped.
I'm happy to help.
So thank you, and don't forget to like, subscribe and follow us on all our social media pages. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well done, you. Superb.